Guys, I'm Johnny Scoville and this is Chase the Heat. I'm on a Yasul. Big fan of this thing. I'm gonna do 30 did 30 minutes yesterday. Yesterday I did the Alps, or in Switzerland. Big mistake. So today we are gonna do we're going to do 45 minutes today. And we're going to do the coastal route in New Zealand. And here we go. All right, so we're in New Zealand now. I love New Zealand. So here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about addiction, my addiction, or addictions, in my recovery, because they're both very important things to me. It's really sort of a funny thing. If you go to, there is a membership for Chase Heat. It's $4.99 a month. I talk about a lot of this stuff on there. But when I was a kid, first time I said this, I was in an interview with my brother on Tommy's channel. Beautiful scenery here. I love New Zealand. And I always sort of felt like a drug addict that hadn't found his drug yet. Even before I had done anything. I was just that person. So cool because I've been to New Zealand, you know. Anyhow, I was in high school, I was a jock. I was an athlete. The sports that I excelled in the most was probably, I won a championship playing football my junior year, the state championship, which was pretty exciting. But I was a better tennis player than I was a football player. But I probably enjoyed football more. I like the team aspect of it. At any rate, I was a jock. And I would drink. I started drinking really kind of when I was young, you know. We would have parties, slight slope here. This is a coastal thing, by the way, in New Zealand. I'm on the coast. But we would have parties when my family would come over. And I would go to one of my uncles and say, hey, can I have a sip? Give me some of his beer. When you're that tall, it doesn't take too many sips to realize there's something interesting in those sips. And they made me feel something. And I kind of started it. I've always had an addictive personality. I remember on my brother's channel once, they said if there was a pill you could take, you take it, one pill, and it would cure you from any addiction. My problem is, my thought is, well, what would happen if you took two of them? That's my problem. Even what I'm doing right now. I got this Yasul, I really love it. The first day I had it, I did 20 minutes. 2 days ago. Yesterday I did 30 minutes. Boy, this is pretty. Today I'm going to go 45. Even this is an addiction. But what I've kind of found is we as people are pretty good at picking up addictions. Habits are pretty easy to pick up. You know, they really are. And getting rid of a habit, a little bit different. Getting rid of a habit's different. So I think a good thing to do, instead of putting your main focus on trying to get rid of a habit, which is important, if you have a habit you're trying to get rid of, fill your days with really good habits that don't leave a lot of time for the bad ones. So I drank a lot. In high school I would drink, but way under the radar. My friends all knew, but you know, I was a sneaky kid. I lived two lives. was a great athlete. So in the right circle, you know, nothing but good things to say about me. But I partied a lot. I would hide it. I would sneak out at night, like every kid probably did. I'd go to bed, I'd wait an hour, sneak out, take the car actually. Just go out until like 3 or 4 in the morning. Drive up the hill, kill the engine, drive up the driveway, the engine off, the lights out, sneak back inside, get in bed, get up an hour later and go to school. I did that a lot. But I only drank. I didn't do any drugs at all. When I was in high school. Then I went to college. The wheels came off in college. Here's the thing, man. Thank God I grew up in the age I grew up. If I grew up with the attitude that I had today, I'd be dead. Because everything that's out there on the street would kill you today. I lived in an era where you could experiment and try everything. You know, it's bad, but I did. I like sobriety a lot more. I think of how much money, if you knew the money I spent to try to feel good, and this makes me feel better. Anyhow, I think one of the most important things, and then I got addicted to, listen, I've either abused or was addicted to everything. Here's what it is. I'm not proud of it. But I really wouldn't change it because it's made me a better person. You know what I mean? I appreciate my sobriety a lot more. It's important to me, you know? I've earned it. And I don't miss it either. The drinking or drugging. I don't. It's interesting. So anyway, I figured this out through journaling. Through journaling, I sort of figured out, this is a heavy video by the way. The subject matter is wicked heavy. I don't usually talk about this. I've talked about this on the bus pass. But I've never talked about it in depth like this on a video here, but through journaling, I figured out why I drank and did things in the first place, did drugs in the first place. In New Zealand, you drive on the wrong side of the road. It's pretty cool. I like that. So, a lot of pressure put on me when I was a kid about grades. That was a huge, really important thing. And I had a sister Scoville. I have 2 sisters. I have an older sister, Scoville's an older one, and I got a younger sister, Scoville. Well, older sister Scoville, got a hill here. It was just amazing, you know? It's a perfect girl, perfect daughter. Never really gotten in trouble. A couple small things. She was a good girl though. Always got great grades, you know? And I followed in her footsteps, and I never felt very smart. I thought that I immediately felt like I was behind the 8 ball as far as intelligence. So what I did was, that's the reason I never really felt comfortable in my own skin. But when I drank even one beer, I remember feeling like, oh, okay, wait a minute, that feeling went away. That feeling of awkwardness, being myself, disappeared. And then you experiment with it. And I realized that for a little bit, drinking would help that. That's not something you can do all the time. So I was trying, it kind of became a quest to find something. Because I sort of felt like I needed something. Something wasn't right. That's how I felt, you know. So, because I felt inadequate intellectually, what I did was I compensated, you know, with being a good athlete in my attempt to be charming, which I was good at. And I was a great athlete. And the difficult problem with that game plan, we're about 12 and a half minutes in. The bad problem with that game plan is that it actually worked. You know what I mean? It worked. I got grades handed to me. You know, I mean, I didn't turn something in. I got extra slack because I was an athlete. You know what I mean? In small schools, you know how it is. Coaches, all the coaches are teachers. My teachers love me because of the sports. So when I got to college, you know, in high school I played 3 sports. I tennis and football and basketball, summer, swimming, lacrosse, you name it, skiing in the wintertime. That's what I did. When I got to college, went to a big university, they had no football team. And the truth is, it wouldn't have mattered. I was big enough to play the division I played, and they had me in the right position. Big university, football wasn't going to be my sport. Now, university I went to had tennis, they wanted me to play. I remember the first night getting to college. I remember my mom and my dad dropping me off. From my window in my room, I watched them drive away. Lived hours away. And like I immediately went off the road into the bushes, partied my brains out. Immediately. And I didn't have sports to shine. You understand? I wasn't going to play tennis. I was too busy partying. In the classes I went to, it was easy to be charming in a class where there was 90 kids in the graduating class. Went to a college where there'd be 350 people in a stadium-style setting for one class. Hard to be charming. So I partied a lot, experimented a lot with everything. Like everything. There's no point in asking me what drugs I did. Makes more sense to ask me which ones I didn't do. Do need to let everybody know that they're bad. All of them. Prescribed by a doctor is one thing, but prescribed by yourself is a different story. I never did PCP or angel dust, but I did everything else. Another big hill here. Okay, so then I failed out of college for grades. My first night of college, actually, the very first night, I got put on disciplinary probation until my senior year on the first night. 1 second. This is not the thing to drink when you're biking, but it's all I had that would fit in the cup holder. Anyway, first night of school, did some stupid stuff. Got put on disciplinary probation to the end. At any rate, I failed out for grades. Applied to a state school fairly close by. They accepted me. I went there and actually cared and got good grades. The only reason I went there was I wanted to get back to the party at the bigger university, which I was already known there, you know. So, you know, I kind of reveled in the madman persona. I slept in a coffin for 2 years. Year and a half, I slept in a coffin. A friend of mine had it. He bought from a funeral home that went out of business. He bought it for a prank on Halloween. After the Halloween was over, his neighbors were giving him a hard time about it, so he said, if you can come get it, you can have it. So I got it and just put a mattress inside, a little blow-up mattress. Slept in it. So my name got really big. Everybody knew me. And I was just like the party guy. That's where, you know, from there I moved to Texas. And just the experimentation got into deeper, harder drugs. And then another problem is that the businesses that I would get into were sales. Because I'm a good talker, and if I try to sell something, I usually could do it. But what does everybody always say about salespeople? They're full of crap, right? So the ants, the automatic negative thoughts that you get in your head, have been telling me forever that I'm full of it. And being uncomfortable in my own skin, trying to silence those ants, it's kind of why I did what I did. No excuses. I own it. I own it. And then what ended up happening, we've been going for 19 minutes already, but to shorten it all, because I could do this for hours, not the biking part, this particular story. You know, through a period of about 3+ decades, there was a pattern. If you watched me, or they did a big documentary, they could document it. There was a pattern of me having moments of brilliance, be it on a field, court, in business, on sales, whatever space I was in, I sort of went after it like I eat peppers, okay? But forever, I had it in my head that I was full of it. And then I started thinking about it. And through journaling, I figured this out. Like when I started the channel, I figured out why I was drinking more. I wasn't drinking a lot before I started the channel. I was drinking, but not drinking a lot. And the reason I was drinking a lot after the channel started was I usually self-sabotage. I'll have periods of brilliance, and then I do something spectacular and just, self-implode. And when I started the channel, right off the bat, I was sort of in the zone. And I could tell right away that if I just kept doing what I was doing, that the channel was going to be a success. I kind of knew that. And You know, I was pressure that I wasn't very good at dealing with. So I started drinking more. And, you know, then, you know the story. Started drinking more and more. I go to a show. At every show, there, you know, bars there. People before the show is open are drinking Bloody Marys. And I remember, look, it got to a point where I didn't have a boss. I remember thinking, I'm not a rock star, you know. I'm a chili head. It's kind of silly. So I needed to get a hold of it. So here's what happened. Now listen, there's a few videos I've made where I can tell I've been drinking. One of them I'm hammered. It's the only video I've ever had where I've disabled the chats. I didn't delete the video because it's history. Nothing anybody could ever write in that chat that could make me feel as bad as making the video. But there's an app called I Am Sober. Decided I was just going to get sober. That morning I called a friend of mine. I told this before. I said, can you imagine me letting a person control me? Like tell me what to say it, how to live, how to behave? I said, no. I said, why would I let something in a bottle? You know? No mind, no IQ, no brain, no conscience. Doesn't care about me. Why should I? How? No. So I said, I'm not going to drink anymore. So what I did was called my kids. Obviously, one at a time, they didn't live together. I told the kids, your dad's a drunk, but your dad's also strong. He's sorry, and he's going to fix it. I did. I called my parents, mom and dad. Told them the same thing. And I got wicked into it. I was stoked. Didn't tell you guys. Didn't tell any of you guys. April, I think it's the 10th, I don't really remember. That was the morning where I said I'm not drinking anymore. I have this app on my phone. It keeps track of how many days and how much money you've saved and how much time you saved, and you know, it's a digital chip. You don't get a coin. You get it one digitally. Every day you look at your phone and the number changes. So download that app, and you know, it's funny. I quit all the really bad drugs. Like I didn't have a date for that. The best of my recollection, it's 14 years ago, maybe 15. But I stopped doing the hard ones. And it's interesting. After I stopped drinking, if you look at the trajectory of my life and the channel, the Netflix thing happened. Fell in love with Bree. The channel kind of took off. We got the silver play button because of you. Got in the Hulu special. And thank you all for watching Super Hots. Ratings are great. People like it. It's kind of exciting. So, we're at 25 minutes right now. Actually, 21 of biking, 25. I don't even know. I can't quite tell. Anyway, I'm going to go 45. But I think journaling is important, because what ended up happening was, see, I felt really guilty. I would tell everybody that I remember saying it, the JC was sort of a mentality. Man, my father was a smart dude. Been dead for 3 years, he gets smarter all the time. He said, don't run from your problems. And you do, you fight tired. Because they're gonna catch up to you, you know? You can run and pedal as fast as you can, think you're away from them. They're gonna catch up to you. And then when you're fighting them, you're tired and you're fighting them on their terms. So I would say all the time, running at your problems, all while I was running away from mine. I knew that my drinking was getting out of control. So the guilt was horrible. I remember, I do a live stream with a beer in a cup in front of me, and you guys would say the nicest things. I'd stop the live stream and cry for 10 minutes because I felt like a coward. Just being honest with you. So when I quit drinking, I didn't tell anybody. I told my family, obviously, because I told you. But I didn't tell the channel. Because I didn't want to hear, we'll see how it goes. Let us know in a year. I figured if I'd have shut my mouth, knuckled down, did the work, made the connections, did what was necessary to stay sober, and did it in 1 year's time, then I could do a victory lap and say, see, I've done it. I haven't had a drink since. This April will be 5 years. But that's my story of addiction. The thing about it is, here's the part about the addiction. It's a double-edged sword, you know. Super excited about it. I feel like I graduated. Like I've done it all. I don't need to do anymore. I don't need to. Now, a thing they could toss at me I haven't done. What's the point? I've graduated from that junk. So I have that feeling of accomplishment that's wonderful. But then what happens when you get sober is you get the ants. The automatic negative thoughts. And they'll say things like, you're a loser. Look, we all get them. They're automatic negative thoughts. It just happens. We all get them. Different for different people. Yours are different than somebody else's. Mine are different than yours. But my ants would tell me how much time I wasted. That even if I was sober every day for the rest of my life, it won't match the number of days that I had wasted. So even in the end, I'm still the loser. I get those ants. And the key about ants is that even though they're automatic and we can't control them, because they're going to pop into your dome whenever they pop into your dome, what we can do is control what we do when that happens. Because the minute I get ants, I get them a lot. Just being honest with you. A lot. When I get ants, I change the scenery. I change what I'm looking at. Change the room I'm in. Change the air I'm breathing. The things I'm looking at. The sounds I'm hearing. Do something. Listen, counting the rhythm of the hammering. Will you stop the hammer? Movie reference. Anyway, to me, changing your environment will oftentimes stop the ants. Will there ever come a day where there are no ants? I doubt it. But will there be a day where I master my ants? Yeah. I'm 30 minutes in. 15 minutes. I didn't charge my phone up. Wonder how I'm doing with battery. For those keeping track, 195 calories burned, 13.7 kilometers traveled so far. Some funny things happened when I quit drinking. I've had a couple of dreams since I quit drinking that I was drinking in my dream. And I woke up feeling guilty. And I'm like, you idiot, it's a dream. But then I'm feeling guilty, but why is my head there? Another thing that happened is this. This is one of the strangest. I've had friends say that they've had this happen to them. If you have, please go to the comments, say so. But if I was hanging around people who were drinking and they were having fun, as the evening went on, I would start to feel like I had a buzz. Absolutely stone sober, I would feel like I had a buzz, and that's the strength of your mind. Saying that you won't drink, I'm going to slide you some dopamine. Let you remember what it feels like. Maybe you'll open a real bottle. Here's a little dopamine for you. It happens to me. It doesn't anymore. Another thing that's happened to me, which is pretty odd, I can be in a, last time it happened, I was with Tommy, a few other family members at a happy hour having some hors d'oeuvres, and there was a table all around us, people eating and having hors d'oeuvres and drinking. And there's one table, this one woman went from, I'm drinking, have a good time, to, I've had too much and I'm getting sloppy. In that moment, I could almost see it in the sip. And when I like being around people who are having fun. I do. I'm not even against alcohol. But when somebody's sloppy, I have to put distance between me and them. That's for real. Okay, we've already gone 3 more minutes today than we did yesterday. I figure if I could do somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, at least 5 days a week, I'm gonna get in shape fast. I want my cardio back. That's the story of my sobriety. You know what? I don't even know what my sober date is. I know it's April something. I feel really lucky in that I never went through that white knuckling period where every 5 minutes you're thinking about it. I know people who do. I feel terrible for them. But I do know one thing. That the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. Okay? If you guys have watched me or my brother's channel, you know what I'm going to say. The opposite of addiction is connections. Because what happens, and anybody who's in an active addiction now or ever has been, if they're honest, they'll tell you that you wall yourself off. When you become addicted, you push everything good away from you. You're forced to live 2 different lives. They cannot collide, or you're going to have a problem. So, we've all been there. Being honest with yourself is the most important thing. But getting over the guilt is a really important part. You can't let that guilt eat you up. Guilt is one of the biggest reasons people relapse. And you can't do that to yourself. Every person who's sober is a miracle. And if you're watching this and you want to get sober, you can. It starts with connections. It does. 35 minutes. I have 9 and a half more minutes to go. 16 kilometers. Yesterday, as soon as the video was over yesterday, I jumped in the pool. I'm inclined to do that right now. Excuse me. Eyes are burning. Hope the phone doesn't die. Tomorrow I'll make sure it's fully charged, because this has to be charged to make that work. I've got 8 more minutes. I think I probably can make it. By the way, I checked the temperature of the pool yesterday when I was in it. It was 56. I kind of eased in like a sissy. I'm not lying. I own it. Tommy jumped in like somebody had put a... Tommy jumped in like somebody put a knife to his head, like a gun to his head, and said, hop in there. So I burned 246 calories. You think about that. Think about a meal, how many calories you get. You think about how hard I just worked. Excuse me. Sorry. Boy, they're easier to get on than they are to get off. I'll tell you that. I gotta pedal faster. I'm being a sissy. 38, 39 minutes. So 6 more minutes. And I can feel good about myself. I didn't weigh myself. Yes, I'm gonna wait. I don't know if I should wait a week. Should I wait a month? What should I do? I can tell you, I already feel better. Eyes are burning. Okay, 40 minutes. So 5 more minutes. I wish I had gotten sober sooner. I can tell you that. I can tell you one thing from me personally. There's no way for me to be my best any other way but sober. I can deliver, but if I'm going to deliver my best, it's going to be sober. And I can't play. That's just not something I can do. I can't dabble. Can't even dabble in peppers. I want to do an air hanky so bad. That direction, but it's gross and nasty and I don't want to bum anybody out. But I really want to. I got another 4 minutes to go. 19 kilometers we traveled. So it's about 77 degrees here. The pool is 56. Looking forward to that. 42 minutes, 3 more minutes. And this is over. I'm improving. I'm becoming a stronger animal. That's the goal. I want to get back to the shape I had when I started this channel. I was a specimen. Boy, oh boy. What a beautiful view. I feel like I stood there with Clint Myers. God, I feel like I stood right there. That's hilarious. Really familiar looking. Boy, New Zealand's pretty. All right, 2 minutes left. So, this bike, Yasul, if you hit the description box, there's a link to Yasul. If you use promo code Johnny, you're gonna save $100, meaning you can buy this thing for $399. And I'm telling you, it's $1,100 more to buy the exact same thing from Peloton, and this has features Peloton doesn't. I'm not kidding. This is an amazing device. I'm so excited to be getting in shape again. We have a minute and 10 seconds. All right, so let's see, by the time this is over, we will have burned about 285 calories, it looks like. 20 kilometers, just a tick over 20. I'm sorry I'm slowing down at the end here, guys. I'm just tired. I'm an old man. But you wait to see what this old man looks like in a month. Like a commercial for Yasul. Muscle has memory. All right. 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here you have it. So yesterday we did 35 minutes in the Switzerland. Today we did, or 30 minutes. Today we did 45 minutes in NZ. Peel back the onion, now you know a little bit more about why I am the way I am. I love you guys. In the description box, all the normal stuff. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was Chase the Heat.